Hi, my name is Meera, Program Director at Forge. First, my congratulations to you all for being a member in your institution's Innovation Council. I'm extremely thankful to MHRD Innovation Cell, AICTE, for having facilitated this session with you all. Before we start the session, a quick introduction to Forge. Forge is a technology business incubator based out of Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Currently, we have a 20,000 square feet physical infrastructure at Coimbatore, but soon we are expanding our footprints at Chennai and Hosur. At Forge, we believe in accelerating technologies and ventures. In the recent years, we have found immense opportunities to support innovators and startup founders through an open innovation model. We partner with government, industry, and academia who come together in this platform to seed, nurture, and accelerate innovation and entrepreneurship across the country at a national level. At Forge, we provide a structured process of managing co-creation between our stakeholders that helps accelerate technologies and nurture high-growth companies. Beyond the physical infrastructure, at Forge, what we consider more important is the technical infrastructure that comprises of a comprehensive range of industrial-grade rapid prototyping labs with equipments, resources, tech support, and an extended base of experts who help our innovators and startup founders fast-track rapid prototyping with support in industrial-grade design, development, and testing. The labs cover electronic design test measurement, IoT, AML, advanced computing, robotics and automation, drones, industrial product design, digital fabrication, and more. The programs that we do at Forge for student innovators, educators, and startup founders are based on the science of innovation and entrepreneurship. These programs that we do not just teaches you how to use the tools, it actually provides a formal scientific process that helps you to gather evidence and that essentially helps you test if your idea is feasible, desirable, and viable. One such program that we do for student innovators at Forge is called ProtoSem, Prototyping Semester, a curriculum integrated innovation fellowship program, which is a semester long and helps students earn 29 credits. During this semester, students actually get an opportunity to turn an idea into a deployable solution by using the scientific method of hypothesis testing and customer development before they actually get into rapid prototyping. This guarantees not just the opportunity to build the right prototype, but actually a rapid learning possibility. The teams that work through our process actually talk to hundreds of beneficiaries and stakeholders while building their prototype, helps them maximize the learning and discovery. Even if the innovation fails, student innovators will leave with a great understanding of the process, understanding obstacles, understanding to use resources, how to build a project outlay, and build a product that would sell in the market. Student innovators in all our institution innovation councils across the country and our innovation mentors who guide them can actually support the teams with the tools that we will introduce to you through this session. But what I expect in turn from you is to act with speed and urgency. Be open to fail and actually learn from the failures. Be ready to meticulously measure progress by defining clear milestones and metrics in your journey of innovation. Let us start with a small question. In the screen now, you see a small sprout. I want each one of you to guess if this sprout belongs to the family of a tomato plant or a banyan tree. Yeah, you can take a closer look at it. How are you going to make this decision? What is going to help you to find whether this small sprout will become a banyan tree or a tomato plant of the future? It's time to come up with your answers. Is it the leaves? Is it the soil? Is it the way the person is going to nurture the sprout? Is it the stem? Is it the environment? What is the most significant part that is going to make the difference? Any guesses? Yes, it is the seed. In spite of everything around it, primarily it is the seed that is going to make the difference. And that will define whether it will become a tomato plant or a banyan tree tomorrow. Okay, why are we doing botany now? Yes, I have a metaphor for this. Let us consider a tomato plant as an example of a small profitable business, a banyan tree to a high growth enterprise. Let me clarify, I am not demeaning a small profitable business. A tomato plant is as important to us as a banyan tree. And we all know the context that we are discussing, the question that I have for you. If a seed determines a tomato plant or a banyan tree, what will determine whether we create a small profitable business or a high growth enterprise? Any guesses? Yes, it is your idea. I'm sure each one of you who are attending today's session have an idea, are currently working on an innovation, or probably planning to come up with an idea which will be innovative and will become a high growth enterprise of tomorrow. I'm sure many of you in your college campus are asked, especially in the Institute Innovation Council, if your idea will become a startup. So let us understand what is this word called startup. Have you looked up this term in any dictionary? It is actually not a word. It is a combination of two words, start up. Primarily, it is a process that helps us from an idea to building a high growth enterprise. So the next time, if someone tells you that they are doing a startup, or if you want to do a startup, please clarify that you are in a process of converting your idea into a high growth enterprise. So, do you have a startup idea, or are you interested to come up with a startup idea after the session today? Are you ready to learn the process of converting an idea into a high growth enterprise? And when in college, are you interested to put your effort, put your skills and competencies in not seeding an idea that would become a small profitable business, but you will try to seed an idea that has the potential to become a high growth company? Are you ready? A startup idea, the first step is to find a problem that is worth solving. Step two, now that you have a problem that is worth solving, I'm sure you don't have difficulty in finding a problem. We live in a country with billions of people, but millions of problems to solve. I'm sure you will find one. And now, can you put your skills and competencies to use and build a solution using technology that will help those who face the problem to effectively solve it with simple methods at an affordable price in a reliable way. In your journey doing a startup, the first two steps that we have seen is problem and prototype. So what's next? You have found a problem that is worth solving. You have built a prototype that is simple, reliable, and affordable for your target user. Now, can we convert the prototype into a product that is not just for one user or one customer, but can be scalable for many such users, buyers, and that product is useful, usable, and technically feasible to be manufactured at scale? If you have a product, can we now see if the cost of manufacturing that product is significantly low than the price that the customer is willing to pay, which means you have profits to make. And if there are more number of customers, then you have a sustainable business to run and scale. To summarize these steps from an idea to enterprise, is it a single jump? Is it a big leap to convert an idea to enterprise? Is it even possible by any one of us to make this big leap? But when we look at startup founders and industry veterans, we look up to them as heroes who have actually made this jump from an idea to an enterprise. Essentially, they haven't made this one leap of a jump from an idea to enterprise. The science of innovation and entrepreneurship helps us understand that a startup consists of 4 P's. Like the 4 P's of marketing, these are 4 P's of a startup: problem, prototype, product, and profit. If I can sum up the process from converting an idea to a business as the 4 P's, then why should we take the big leap? Can we make it a 2-staged process? Identify a problem worth solving, build a solution that is useful and usable to the target customer, a prototype, which is nothing but an innovation. When you have a prototype that has proven value to the target customer and has been designed to scale for mass manufacturing, then you can take the next leap, converting the prototype into a profitable business. And to us, that is entrepreneurship. As students of colleges across the country, the step before becoming an entrepreneur is to become an innovator. And that is the primary reason why each one of us are today part of Institute Innovation Council. Even if we fail becoming an entrepreneur after we graduate, even if we take an employment, a job, we can still be an intrapreneur if we have mastered the skill of an innovator. So it is a great opportunity provided to you all by MHRD Innovation Cell and AICTE to become innovators. Innovation is the next wave. It's the new normal. I'm sure many educators who are attending this session would agree with me. In 2000, information technology was the new normal. People, individuals, graduates who did not understand the science of computing, who did not learn information technology, were considered not ready for the workforce. Today, it is innovation. And MHRD Innovation Cell and AICTE has made it a mandate for academic institutions through the AICTE student and faculty startup policy, through the initiatives of MHRD Institute Innovation Council, and the Smart India Hackathon is to help each one of us learn the science of innovation. So the focus that we will retain for the next part of the session is only innovation. As students and educators in the academia, if we could unleash our potential, unleash the potential of the talent and technologies that we have access to come up with innovations, then we are not very far away from making India the superpower of tomorrow. Because you will agree with me that we are abundant with talent and technologies. And it's just a step away from bringing this together to create innovations. And what we provide from Forge and from MHRD Institute Innovation Cell is only a process that can help you converge the resources you have to create meaningful innovations. Innovation has been very important, as we discussed, but in today's unplanned, unprecedented pandemic situation, it has become much more relevant at a national level. But to us as students and academicians, there has always been a question and scenarios where we participate in competitions, pitch fest, demo days, where we have a jury member or a funding committee that decides which is that innovative idea that deserves to win. Every time there is someone who gives you a feedback of how to make your idea more innovative or how to come up with an innovative solution for a problem. But what is more important is the path to come up with an innovative idea, the science to innovate. Before we learn the science of innovation or the tools that are going to help us come up with an innovative solution for the problem that we have chosen, can we simply understand what we mean by innovation here? The innovation that we are talking about attempts to solve a real world problem using technology. It is a product innovation which is tech enabled that will clearly bring in a change to the user bar the customer and help you as an innovator to create prosperity, profit, and impact. So the question for us to ask is which innovation will win? In the context of MHRD Institute Innovation Cell, I am sure each one of you are preparing to either compete in the Smart India Hackathon or the MHRD Institute Innovation Challenge and many more innovation challenges thrown open by government, corporates, incubators, and labs. But which innovations will win? Not just grants and investments, but customers and markets. Which innovation is worth pursuing? If we are looking for that answer, then we need to understand what is the perspective of people on what criteria are they going to select us. The most fundamental and the important criteria, or rather the only criteria that matters, is the highest target revenue that this innovation can create in the next 3 years. That determines the potential and the possibility of a winning innovation. Now that you know the criteria, how do we calculate target revenue? It's a simple formula of the number of units you will sell into price per unit. For your innovation, if you know your target customer, if you can estimate the demand, the number of units you can actually sell every year into the price, then you can arrive at the target revenue. Isn't this simple? You agree with me? The most important challenging part of this is going to be the price. How are you going to put a price? The demand, the number of units you can sell, probably you may be able to calculate using secondary data. But we are building an innovative product. Nobody has ever used a product similar to this. How can we determine price for that? If I'm going to calculate price based on my bill of materials, on the cost, using the cost plus profit model, maybe my customer is ready to pay more. Or I may put a cost plus profit model, but the customer is not ready to pay so much for the innovation that I am building. So there are a lot of probabilities that the price that you are thinking today may not be the right price for you to estimate the success of your product in the market tomorrow, right? You agree with me? Then how do we go about doing this? Are we going to cheat ourselves and assume based on our own assumptions that we have a market and there are customers who are willing to pay a particular price for our product, make the mathematical calculation and present it? Or are we really going to build evidence? The price for your product is only as much as your target customer is willing to pay. If your customer has to decide how much to pay for your product, then he should experience your product. He doesn't know what will be the value he will gain from your solution. Your solution's worth is only equal to the perceived value of your customer. So how do we measure this? This looks very qualitative. This is completely sounding like a qualitative measurement. How do I measure this as a quantitative number called price? The only way is to help your target customer experience value. There are different methods you can use to help your customer experience value. But in innovation, in the kind of innovation that we are talking today on, product innovation, which are technology enabled, the only way to get your target customer to experience value is to build a prototype. I'm sure we have been building prototypes, applying various technologies to solve many problems, but still many of our prototypes do not become successful innovation. The fundamental reason for that is our prototypes are not proof of concepts. The prototype that we are talking to you about, and that's the proper definition for the word prototype. To help you understand that, we use this term called MUP, minimum usable prototype. A minimum usable prototype is a prototype that can be useful to the customer, is usable by the customer, can be deployed, overcoming the constraints, meeting the requirements of any system integration, is technically feasible, and is not a technology under research. It is a feasible technology that can be applied to solve the problem and has the potential to be manufactured at scale. MUP, the minimum usable prototype that we are attempting to build, is essentially to test value and not features. The value to the customer, he will be able to experience the extent to which the solution can solve the problem, and not a set of features and functionalities that will demonstrate the technical expertise and skills to the jury members. When we have a prototype to test value, provide the experience to the target customer, we are able to ascertain the price and hence the revenue target in the next 3 years. This will help us to build real evidence to prove it to experts, jury members, investors, and also to future customers that our innovation wins. So this science of managing innovation, from identifying a problem worth solving to building the right prototype using tools, techniques, and prototyping it right for testing value by itself is a skill for each one of us to learn. Managing innovation in simple terms is about managing risk. When we present our innovation, either our customer or a potential investor or a jury member is actually looking at the risk. If we have to come up with a winning innovation, we need to come up with evidence that we have built to measure, mitigate, and manage risk involved in our innovation. This is not very complicated. Like any science, it sounds difficult, but what it requires is a meticulous, step-by-step procedure to be followed so that each one of you who are attending this session, each one of the educators who are attending this session will be equipped with the tools and techniques to manage risk in innovations so that every innovation that we build for the future is worth pursuing for all of us in terms of time, effort, resource, money. To fast track the process of mitigating the inherent risks in innovation, it is important to focus on validation risks over valuation risk. Validation risks are measured in terms of customer motivation, acceptance, and commitment, and this has to be done before we evaluate an innovation in terms of its valuation risk. If the primary responsibility of the innovator is to identify, mitigate, and manage risk, then the method that we use to ascertain success has to be to measure their progress and not the outcome in the journey of a student innovator. Some of the measurable progress indicators that we can ascertain from a team of student innovators could be evidence of the evaluation of the team, their learning, the validity of the problem statement in terms of its significance, magnitude, and incidence, identification of a target customer, their needs, and the reasoning for them to solve the problem. A quantified definition of the value expected out of the solution and the acceptance of the same by the target customer. The ability of the solution to overcome any adoption barriers in not just design, development, and deployment of the solution, but also in the usability factors pertaining to the target customer. In Forge, inspired and guided by the resources of various thought leaders from across the globe, we have developed a fun and an effective way to help innovators profile and measure this validation risk inherent in product innovations. And this also would help them to work meticulously to neutralize the risk. The product innovation rubric, the diagnostic tool to guide innovators through a fast track process of validating risk by linking their progress to customer motivation, customer acceptance, and customer commitment, and thereby helping them and also others to evaluate the true market potential of the product innovation based on evidence. To aid the process of innovation diagnostic and to make it more competitive, the product innovation rubric also has a product innovation score. It is a point score on a scale of 0 to 100. The score has been distributed with equal weightage to the 5 factors. Under each of these 5 factors, a particular innovation can score up to 20, and under each factor, the sub parameters have been clearly defined in a descriptive manner so that either you as an innovator or your mentor could be able to assess and score you pertaining to the evidence that you have produced. This rubric is not just helping you get a score for your product innovation, but rather also provides you the compass, the roadmap, how to de-risk your innovation and move forward the probability of its success. Help you understand this innovation rubric is not just for you to score your innovation, but rather a diagnostic tool that helps you understand where you are and also what you have to do to score higher in that particular factor. For example, in the first factor, is the problem statement defined clearly? If you have scored 10, which means you have clearly defined a problem statement as it is experienced by the beneficiary or multiple beneficiaries in the real world, but without a description or indication of significance or magnitude. If you have scored 10, which means you have spoken directly to beneficiaries, you have understood the problem statement from them, you have validated the same with them, and here it is not just one beneficiary, it is multiple individuals who are categorized as a particular beneficiary or beneficiaries. You have evidence of your conversation, evidence of their validation of the problem statement, evidence of their commitment and motivation to solve this problem. Now that you have scored 10, how do you score a 20? If you have to score a 20, a clearly defined and validated problem statement with description of the significance and the magnitude. So you are able to quantitatively ascertain the significance and the magnitude of the problem, and you are able to clearly provide different customer personas for different beneficiaries who shall be impacted by the problem. Do you find this tool helpful for you? The product innovation rubric and the product innovation score. I'm sure using this tool will be fun, but it is more helping you mitigate risk in your innovation. By managing risk, you are managing your innovation for time, cost, and effort. So, how do we go about implementing this tool? This product innovation rubric is also a scorecard which is available on the MHRD Institute Innovation Cell portal for you to submit your POCs. So it's very important for you to learn how to use this tool. Before you apply the product innovation rubric and the product innovation score, you will have to list the various assumptions cogently that are related to your product innovations. This product innovation hypothesis framework actually helps you to write down various assumptions on problem, constraints and barriers, value to the customer, solution, and the usability of your solution, and the price assumptions. Applying this framework through a process of problem validation, customer discovery, and continuously crafting, recrafting, and testing your value proposition, conceptualizing the MUP or the prototype that you would build to help your customer experience this value can be done iteratively using the framework. As you can see, you can write down your assumptions under each one of these factors and also validate the same with n number of customers. On the right side, every time you validate your problem statement with say 5 customers or 10 customers, you can actually mark your progress and also refine your problem statement. So this tool The product innovation hypothesis is not something you create once, but it is something that you create and you refine continuously as you speak to more number of customers in your customer discovery and development process. Once you have framed your product innovation hypothesis, you can actually apply your product innovation rubric, and based on that also score your innovation with the product innovation score. The score for any of this can be only provided based on evidence, not on assumptions. So we write assumptions here, we collect evidence, and we continue to improve our score in the product innovation rubric. To help you understand this better, let me give you an example. In the interest of time, I'm quickly going through an example of an innovation that a team of students wanted to build a wildlife monitoring system to avoid human-animal conflict near the forest borders. They have described the problem as per their understanding. They have written the constraints and barriers they see in design, development, deployment of this innovation, and also in the usability of the same by the target users. They have defined the value or the benefits they are creating for the target user or the customer. They have also described the solution and the various factors that will help the solution overcome the adoption barriers and make it usable. They have also described the price based on various models of revenue generation that they assume could be a possibility. These are only assumptions. Who is the expert here to say whether this innovation is good or bad? Is there any innovation that is bad? Every innovation has the potential, and there is a possibility to refine and reframe so that you can substantiate the potential of the innovation and move it from a wrong approach to a right approach. So this team first started working on this innovation during a hackathon, and look at the score they had. They have not met any target user. They have not spoken to anybody. They have not visited a forest officer. They haven't understood the problems of the farmers who live in the borders and who are attacked by elephants. They do not know if there is someone who would pay for the solution. They had the technical ability to build the solution and they just started working on it. They are not sure who is going to be the paying customer, whether it is the farmer who lives in the borders of the forest, who share the fence with the forest. Is it the forest officer? Is it the NGO who is trying to mitigate human-animal conflict? Who is going to be the target buyer? What is the exact value that the buyer is looking for? Is he looking for an alert system? Is he looking for a system that will scare away the animals when they come closer to the fences? Is he looking for an information system? And is the solution that they propose, the use of technology that they propose, is the right choice that will help them to build a prototype to test value and not features? When they started on this innovation, their score was 18, but they progressed during a full-time fellowship program. They met many users, multiple beneficiaries. They could clearly get hold of what is the reality on the ground. Their assumptions were validated in certain places, were disapproved by certain users. So they had to continuously gain insights and redefine their problem statements. This helped them to improve their product innovation score. Continuing the process with further iterations, also parallelly developing the minimum usable prototype, testing the prototype, and making it a cost-effective solution and the best possible method to help the user solve the problem has helped them move forward and has also helped them build evidence and made it a winning innovation. This process of using a product innovation rubric to help early stage innovators to really know where they are and how they need to move forward actually helps both the innovators and the mentors. An innovator who's passionate about solving the problem, who's confident about his tools and techniques adopted in the solution, can actually use this rubric as a mirror to reflect upon and understand if he is on the right path. Use it as a compass for him to decide or change directions. As a mentor, it also helps each one of us to have a common understanding to support an innovator. The major problem today for innovators is also mentorship from multiple sources. Every mentor an innovator meets has his own expertise to share, his own decisions to make for the innovation. But this tool helps the innovator to take inputs from mentors they meet, experts they encounter during various programs, challenges, take the inputs, put it through the framework, and help them make the decision if they are on the right path or should they take a deviation from the path. For them to score this, for every statement that they have on the product innovation hypothesis, you can look at the minimum number of customers they have spoken to. This number is not static. It could be very high for a consumer product, and it could be very low to an industrial or an impact solution. So it depends on the innovation, the kind of product innovation that you're currently working on, and you can choose to decide the sample size that will help you validate your assumptions and help you redefine and refine your hypothesis. So what increased the PIR score for this team of innovators? You saw them score 18 at level 1, and through the fellowship program, they have moved from 18 to 86. What did they achieve that helped them score higher? It is customer motivation, customer commitment, and customer acceptance. If, as an innovator, you co-create your innovation with your target customer, you mitigate the most important risk called the customer. And this process helps you do it in a structured process. Now that you have learned the importance of innovation and the tool that would help you to build an innovation with potential, let us quickly summarize the learnings of this session. The narrative of this session was planned to help you understand why your idea is the seed you sow to create a high-growth enterprise. Each one of you, as a member of the Institute Innovation Council, are currently working on an idea. You are using your time and effort and also resources from your institutions. Why do you want to compromise what you want to achieve out of this? Let us shoot for the sky. Let us work towards creating an impact. Even if we fail, we will learn from the same. So let us seed an idea that has a potential to scale. Through the session, we also looked at the scientific process to convert an idea into a high-growth company. It was no magic wand or a secret sauce that I shared today with you. It is a step-by-step procedure, a scientific process that is repeatable. We learned startup is a process that helps us to convert an idea into a high-growth company. The 4 P's of a startup helps us master the science of product innovation. Now we know that it doesn't require heroic skills to do this. It only requires meticulous effort to manage the process of innovation. The third important learning from the session is why do we build a prototype? Prototype is primarily to prove value to the target customer. It is not to showcase your technical skills, features, and functionalities of your product. It is primarily to prove value to your customer, to ascertain price, which will help you to understand the potential of your innovation. We also looked at the importance of managing innovation. Managing innovation is nothing but managing the risk. When there are enough time, effort, and resources that is required for us to come up with a product innovation, it is also equally important for us to manage it. We looked at why we need to mitigate and manage validation risks through a proper problem validation, customer discovery, crafting and validating value proposition to come up with a minimum usable prototype concept derived through the scientific process that will help us mitigate risk in the success of our innovation. Finally, we also learned the innovation toolkit, the product innovation rubric from the Forge Innovation Toolkit that helps you to do a diagnostic search on where you stand today with your innovation and what is the step forward for you to go from here. How iteratively you can talk to your customers, understand their motivation, commitment, and acceptance to de-risk your journey of innovation and increase your opportunity to succeed. In this time of pandemic, during this period of lockdown, when we are discussing these kind of interventions that we need to bring into our innovation journey, talking to customers, visiting places to understand and observe the problem deeply. I understand that there are challenges for each one of you to complete this process, but I'm sure each one of you who are part of this Institute Innovation Council in your own institutions are also entrepreneurial. As an entrepreneur in the making, it is also important for you to become resourceful and mitigate the challenges in front of you and make it your opportunities. This is also a time for you to talk to many of your target users and customers. The challenges in the markets have changed immensely. There is a new way of living that has become the new normal, which could have fast-tracked the need for your innovation or could have become a challenge today for you. This is the right time, and this is also the time when many of your target users and customers are available for you to do a call, to identify, to mitigate and manage the risk that you have in your innovation by talking to more number of them. I hope this was a great learning session for each one of you, and you would take this opportunity to implement the innovation rubric, the product innovation rubric. In the interest of time, there are more detailed blogs, resources, and the templates available for you in our portal for a free download, which you can check out, read, immerse, so that you have a better clarity of what we learned today and apply the learning in the real world. Thank you for your patient listening. Hope you enjoyed the session. I thoroughly enjoyed the session today with you all. The tools developed by Forge are shared with you in the resources, and they have been tested and tried by hundreds of innovators across the country. More than 10,000 student innovators have used the tools. More than 500 educators from various academic institutions have been trained to use these tools, and they have designed and developed innovations that matter. I hope each one of you will read through the resources, attempt to use the tools, and come back to us if you have any questions or queries. As a partner incubator to many academic institutions across the country, we support the Institute Innovation Council and help them in the journey to transform student innovators to startup entrepreneurs. As a partner incubator, we provide institutions to create an adjunct innovation practicum that can be integrated with the 4-year engineering curriculum or a 3-year science program that would help all of us to unleash this latent potential in our campus to redefine the future of the country. It's time to make for India. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be responsible citizens. Thank you.